Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a very good extended weekend. I got nothing really on watch coming into today. Just, the market kind of just sitting right on the 100-day moving average, pretty much for the third, fourth time trying to, find the footing. But the IWM and smaller caps are just hanging out in a range. So, I really don't see much. I'm going to pass it right over to Josh.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. You can hear me. Um, like Judah said, the market's been pretty heavy. I made a video last week talking about the changing landscape of, these prior breakouts that worked so well, probably up until November of last year, and that kind of coming to a screeching and grinding halt. And the market being on its 100-day moving average and the NASDAQ turning over and the SPY turning over a little bit and things like consumer defensive leading just makes me think that the sell-off's not over yet. We haven't had any panic selling. Yes, there have been some growth stocks that are down 40, 50, 60%, but we haven't had any panic selling on bigger things in my opinion. It's been sharp selling, but I don't think anybody's panicked, especially not on the indices. Like we're still pretty close to highs. So if we do continue to unwind, I have my list ready. MU, I'm going to be watching versus 411.66, the close of yesterday. And if you don't want to short an individual semiconductor, you can kind of use support and resistance lines on the Soxel. Like I would be looking versus 63, 64 here, bounces to short into if you don't want to short an individual stock, because sometimes it's hard to pick the individual semiconductor that's going to fade that day. But NVIDIA is definitely starting to roll over and get a bit heavier. So I will be looking here as well, more so versus 185, 183. Watching intraday to see how bounces fail, to see if it stays heavy below VWAP. I don't have it on this chart, but I have VWAP on other charts, so I do use it. And on the flip side of things, if the markets firm up, I am going to be watching for a higher low on the IGV. I'm not trying to call bottom, find bottom, but I just see so much sentiment on Twitter and other publications and financial message boards just talking about how software is over. Everybody's talking about that. And it's just that conversation has accelerated over time. So I don't really know how much short-term momentum. What the? I didn't know. I don't know what just happened, but that narrative might be a little overcooked short term, and maybe we get a bounce on the IGV. And with that, I'm going to be looking at NOW versus its low of Friday, which is 104.59, 104.59, and see if there's a potential trend there. Maybe we could have a short bounce to the other kind of right side of this V in the 120s if we got some momentum in the IGV. Another name that I'm going to be looking at is this VNet Chinese data center. Kind of look for a trend to develop after 9:45 or 10 a.m. if the market is if the market's holding up enough that some stocks can get a little bit of momentum behind it. But there's no telling where we're going to really stop selling on the broader market, because we're not very far off from highs at all. So we'll see what develops, and passing this right along.
All right. Morning, everyone. So I'm going to watch Rhyme this morning. This one being pretty stubborn on Friday. And also it's still resilient. So I think this one can really push a little bit further than at least after the open. I'm expecting to see a push slightly higher, so maybe towards 6 or at least 550. Either way, I am going to be paying attention, see if it really depends. If it's going to roll over and gets under 430, then I am going to be more aggressive in pops. But other than that, I'm just looking at previous levels. So I think there's a decent chance to have at least one more push into the open. We shall see how it's going to behave there. Then I'm going to treat it, like a second day gap down, gap up, and see how it's going to behave from there. Like I said, not really looking to do anything now, since it has plenty of time to give a decent fade, and it's still haven't. So I'm just going to watch for any push towards 550. Then have other names that I'm going to keep an eye on it, like Zoom looks pretty nice on the daily. It's trying to build a nice base here, and also has two tight range. So 2 days with tight range. So I'm going to watch any break to 93.50, or if it's going to have a weak open with this gap down in the market, I'm going to watch any dips versus Friday lows, and then we shall see if it's going to catch up from there. So I'm long biased on this one, and I'm trying to keep an open mind in this market. Looks like my rollover, it doesn't have enough steam, but still there are a few decent charts that can offer a good risk reward. So even if on Zoom I'm going to take any, that the risk is going to be super tight, so maybe 89.50. So worth giving a shot, and then we shall see if it's going to have some juice to push it higher or not. P-Lab, same thing here. Nice daily chart here with a nice push on Friday. I would really like to see an inside day here, or today, or another attempt to break to a 39. That would be something that I would take in consideration for a long. Then I'm looking at Amazon. Amazon pretty beat up in the past few weeks, and so far I'm looking at this level here, see if it's going to do something. On Friday, I have been short biased, but as you can see, sort of held. So since we have this tight range here, and if market will have any attempt to have a bounce, then I might taking in consideration for a bounce trade. So again, if it's going to get under, then definitely the story might get different, but other than that, I might look for a bounce. Then looking at ZIM, they had a buyout. I think a lot of people who held along the way, they are going to sell. So at least it's going to create some sort of supply. So I'm looking, since we have this high here, I'm going to watch for any stuff of that area, and then I am going to be interested in taking advantage of some sort of a profit taking, at least early in the morning. Nvidia, like Josh said, I think there's a decent chance to see some sort of rollover. This one looks like my losing steam, and I'm going to be interested in any push towards a 185. So I'm not going to chase it here, zero interest. But if it's going to push 183, 184 and slightly higher, and then it's going to find some sort of supply and stuff there, then I might consider for more unwind. And the last one I'm watching, it's KTOS, which looks that might give up this area. So I'm just going to watch if it's going to break under 85, and then I'm going to watch for any weakness and potentially rollover. I am going to target pretty much gap closing, so I'm not looking for huge or whatever long-term swing, but rather take advantage of this snap if it's going to get under that level. So yeah, pretty much that's what I have for today, guys, and catch you all in chat.
Yep. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Emil. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hope you guys